In March of 1995, Eric Wright, also known as Eazy-E, passed away from autoimmune deficiency syndrome, also known as AIDS. His death came very quickly after his diagnosis, and to this day, friends, family, and associates suspect foul play, not only because of Wright's influence in large bank accounts, but also because of inconsistencies about the details of his diagnosis. In September of 1996, Tupac Shakur died from internal bleeding as a result of being shot 4 times by an unknown assailant. He was immediately cremated, and to this day, several theories circulate about his death, including those that he never died in the first place and that he lives in another country. In March of 1997, Christopher Wallace, also known as Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie, died after being shot 4 times by an unknown assailant. On the day of his funeral, the streets of Bed-Stuy were packed with fans. For years, theories circulated that Suge Knight was behind the murder, and just recently, the FBI alleged that this theory is true. The deaths of these 3 men seem to mark a cultural shift in our collective obsession with celebrity death, especially in urban communities. Though they died over 20 years ago, we still see t-shirts, posters, stickers, films, all boasting their names and likeness, many produced and purchased by those who know nothing about their art, actions, or beliefs. To many, these 3 have been reduced to mere pop culture imagery. Even more so, most of these products are sold without permission, which means no money for their estate and family members. A series about Tupac and Biggie came out as recently as 2018, and holographic versions of Tupac and Eazy-E appeared on music festival stages in 2012 and 2013, respectively. In a way, these men are still actively working over 20 years after their deaths. As the pool of those considered celebrities continues to grow, so does our obsession with and monetization of their lives, and in turn, their deaths. Additionally, more and more celebrities market their personalities as a product, creating a closeness that didn't exist before, which makes it extremely easy to turn a death into a profit with a snap.
If I died with tears come to her eyes, forgive me for my disrespect, forgive me for my lies.
This is a term usually associated with religion, but has become synonymous with celebrity obsession as well. The dynamic between celebrities and their audiences is interesting to say the least. We wear the faces of these strangers on our bodies, hang them on our walls, and set them as our phone backgrounds. We shell out money on their products more and more as celebrities start brands to increase their wealth. We pay hundreds of dollars for meet and greets just to stand near them for 5 minutes. The mania of celebrity idolatry can be traced back to the 1960s when Frank Sinatra rose to prominence and because of the Beatlemania era. Fans packed stadiums and passed out at the close proximity of their favorite musicians. In 1957, this idolatry became applicable to political figures beginning with Dwight Eisenhower and soon led to the election of celebrities to public office. According to an article called The Murky Side of Idolatry, celebrity idolatry in China has even more parallels to religion than you might think. While gift giving is typical in Western celebrity worship, according to the article, celebrity worship in China can also include making sizable donations in a certain celebrity's name or taking out ads in print, online media, and even on billboards to boost said celebrity's fame. This mirrors spreading religion through the use of pamphlets, informational videos, articles, etc. Celebrity worship has become so prominent that celebrity worship syndrome was studied at length and discussed in I'm Your Number One Fan, a clinical look at celebrity worship in 2014. Celebrity worship is an obsessive addictive disorder in which a person becomes overly involved with the details of a celebrity's personal and professional life. It establishes several different levels of severity: simple obsessional, entertainment social, intense personal, love obsessional, erotomaniac, and borderline pathological. We usually see symptoms of idolatry at the end of adolescence and throughout teen years, as it is a normal part of childhood development. Not only does it help preteens and teens understand their place in the world, but it also allows them to relate to a certain community of people and develop healthy emotions linked to identity, sex, and romance. It helps them create aspirations and gives them the idea that anything is possible. However, it can be hard to draw the line between what is healthy and what isn't. For example, celebrity worship is often associated with depression, anxiety, dissociation, and body image issues like body dysmorphia and eating disorders. My observations of and research about this phenomenon do not make me immune to it. When I was a young teen, I was obsessed with the likes of One Direction, Mindless Behavior, Diggy Simmons, Jacob Lattimore. I remember when a friend and I discovered that Diggy Simmons and Jessica Jarrell were dating, she was irrationally angry, and I felt that I had been lied to and betrayed, despite never having met these people in my life. In 2019, I paid for very expensive concert meet and greet tickets and shelled out a ridiculous amount on merch. Things like this are normal, but I'm curious about whether or not they should be. While the lives of celebrities inspire progress, the death of celebrities can stunt progress in the lives of those that are obsessed with them. For many, the death of a certain celebrity can feel devastating, not only because of their assumed connection, but because it reminds us of our own mortality. According to Reader's Digest, their deaths can trigger very specific memories, forcing us to mourn those memories all over again. In another vein, we often trade in accountability for idolization when celebrities die because it's the end of an era, or because they aren't present to defend themselves, or because speaking ill of the dead seems like a curse in and of itself. But it seems more likely that this belief stems from not wanting to blemish a legacy, even if it's already tarnished. Overall, this mindset is pretty toxic and can stall cultural progression. In 1997, a Detroit native named Scott Michaels founded a website called findadeath.com that logs the details of celebrity deaths, including any available photos. He started the site for those that shared his morbid curiosity for the gritty details of a celebrity's death. To this day, you can go to the site as it is still regularly updated, though it doesn't have details of many recent deaths. This was only the beginning of the internet overstepping into the deaths of celebrities. Just last year, Naya Rivera drowned in Lake Piru in Ventura County, and the world watched the investigation and body discovery occur in real time. Shortly after, her sister and ex-husband faced criticism for the time they were spending together, and rumors began to circulate that they were dating. When Nipsey Hussle was murdered in 2019, fans were quick to circulate theories that he was killed because he was working on a documentary about Dr. Sebi, effectively diminishing the mourning process of his friends and family, in favor of circulating theories and attempting to solve a crime that was solved as soon as it was committed.
So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game and it just never changed. It was an everyday process. You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else.
On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna perished in a fatal helicopter crash along with 7 others. Ara Zobayan, John Altobelli, his wife Carrie and their daughter Alyssa, Christina Mauser, and Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton. According to a lawsuit filed by Vanessa Bryant against the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, she was told that they were survivors of the crash and received the news that her family members died via DMs and comments from strangers expressing their condolences. The lawsuit says, faced with the scene of unimaginable loss, no fewer than 8 sheriff's deputies at the crash site pulled out their personal cell phones and snapped photos of the dead children, parents, and coaches. The deputies took these photos for their own personal gratification. Over the coming weeks, Vanessa Bryant was constantly tagged in countless Mamba tribute drawings, videos, posters, and apparel designs. Fans feigned for her attention, despite the great loss she'd experienced and was learning to cope with. The likeness, image, and intellectual property of celebrities is constantly exploited without permission. Look no further than Etsy, Redbubble, Amazon, and other online marketplaces with hundreds of sellers with products that have aaliyah, left eye, and other deceased public figures printed on them. There's next to nothing on these websites that regulates products like this. Etsy, for example, makes it clear that the seller is responsible for ensuring that they have permission to sell products with the intellectual property or copyright of others, but they don't regulate this because their guidelines already absolutely absolve them of blame. In most cases, even selling fan art is illegal, let alone products like this that use a celebrity's likeness and a photographer's photo and graphic artist's design, likely without their permission. This exploitation only gets worse when celebrities die. It may be morbid to hear, but as soon as there is an inkling that a celebrity is sick or close to death, people see dollar signs. The first to report the story, to post photos, to speak to family. The more clicks, impressions, engagement, the more money they make. On April 9th, 2021, DMX died, but before his death was confirmed, people were posting RIP tweets. Drawings and merchandise were posted suspiciously quickly afterward. This is typical. In 2017, Kylie and Kendall Jenner began selling a line of one-of-a-kind graphic t-shirts printed with the Jenners' names and images over that of hip-hop and rock icons. Among those was an image of Tupac and Biggie. Upon seeing this, Biggie's estate, which is headed by his mother, Miss Valletta Wallace, released the following statement. I'm not sure who told at Kylie Jenner and at Kendall Jenner that they had the right to do this. The disrespect of these girls to not even reach out to me or anyone connected to the estate baffles me. I have no idea why they feel they can exploit the deaths of Tupac and my son Christopher to sell a t-shirt. This is disrespectful, disgusting, and exploitation at its worst. Right on YouTube, there's an entire genre of content aimed at exploiting celebrity death. Beyond the Grave videos exploit celebrities and audiences alike by claiming to communicate with them after their death. They ask all kinds of intrusive questions in an attempt to do fan service. Though these videos are not against YouTube policies, it is not likely that YouTube would be able to take them all down if they were. Websites that are less monitored have forums with user-submitted DIY guides that explain monetizing celebrity deaths with built-in testimonials. These ideas range from starting fan pages to creating ad-laden websites dedicated to rare videos that don't exist. Outside of the fashion and home decor businesses, music and television does this in the form of biopics, television series, and film. Tupac has been portrayed 5 times since his death in 5 different projects. Whitney Houston has been portrayed in 3 different projects, and aaliyah was portrayed once in a film that didn't even have the estate's permission. Record companies have done this in the form of posthumous releases ever since I can remember. The same few songs can be released several times with different remixes or features or in the form of compilation albums. Pop Smoke's Dior was released for the 4th time after his death.
He would release 2 projects in his lifetime, Meet the Woo in 2019 and Meet the Woo 2 in 2020, both mixtapes. What I find funny is Dior is his most popular track even when he was still here, but it was released all the way back on the first project, then as a bonus on the second, a remix on the second, and then finally again as a bonus on the album.
And according to this article, he has another posthumous album on the way.
If you've ever wanted to dance with I Want to Dance with Somebody, singer Whitney Houston in concert, but never got the chance, you may be in luck. That's because the iconic singer is going on a hologram tour next year. Nice.
Whitney Houston's hologram began touring in 2020, leaving an uneasy feeling in many, despite her sister-in-law, Patricia Houston, insisting that this is something Whitney wanted. It wasn't executed well and seems like a cash grab to many that attended. Along similar lines, the estate of Amy Winehouse announced in 2018 that they plan to do a hologram tour as well. It seems like this method of resurrecting stars will be the new wave. When celebrities are exploited this way, we know them more for their likeness than anything else. This has been done to countless celebrities in the past 20 years or so. Nipsey Hussle, XXXTentacion, Whitney Houston, Juice WRLD, DMX, Pop Smoke, Left Eye, Aaliyah, Amy Winehouse, John Lennon, Tupac, Biggie, James Dean. The list is endless. As soon as 3 hours after the tragic plane crash, web domains like lovekobebryant.com, kobedead.com, and kobebryanthelicopter.com were registered and went on sale for as much as $99,000. Phrases like "what would Kobe do" were trademarked. Online marketplaces and even physical stores were flooded with Kobe merchandise, much of it unauthorized. Some stores used Kobe-esque designs. According to the Peoria Journal-Star, products read Mamba Forever, referencing Bryant's longtime nickname, Legends Are Forever, and Mamba Out. They included his silhouette, his years of life, numbers, they used purple and gold, the colors of the Lakers, but were careful to avoid reprinting the team's name or logo. Just recently, Nike came under fire after designs for a Mamba tribute sneaker were leaked because they did not have a deal with Vanessa Bryant, and she designed the shoes herself. Additionally, all of the proceeds were to be donated to the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation, which is what happened with the Mambacita clothing line Vanessa Bryant released earlier this year. You can find several pairs of these shoes on Depop, but if purchasing these shoes goes against the family's wishes and the legacy of Kobe and Gianna, what would be the point of purchasing them? In his stand-up recording Unforgiven, posted on Instagram, Dave Chappelle tells the story of the first time he saw 3-card Monty being played.
And I see something I've never seen before. 3-card Monty. And he was like, find the red card, and people were playing. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but it was really exciting, and I'm standing there watching it, and I noticed while I'm watching them play this game that the red card, the one you're trying to find, had just a little bend on the corner.
He realized that he and other spectators were being played.
And I realized that all those people who was doing all that hooting and hollering and betting, my God, they were his friends. They were in on the whole thing. I felt so wronged. I felt so stupid. And then the next sucker came up to the table and was about to put his money down. And I said, fuck that, man. Don't put your money there. All these niggas is in on it.
But he learned this valuable lesson.
And when I said that, the guy that was dealing, and this motherfucker was huge, snatched me up by my collar. Feel how strong he was when he grabbed me. I was a skinny little guy. Then he looked at me like the way a father would look at a child. And he said to me, young man, don't ever come between a man and his meal. Taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him.
This is similar to the can't knock the hustle mentality that Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige were talking about, a mentality that many of us have adopted. This is why people promote products they've never used, steal artwork and valuables, because they have to get it by any means. In the same special, Chappelle talks about how Comedy Central exploited him and attempted to ruin his reputation, aka how Comedy Central almost got between him and his meal, between him and his job, his passion, his hustle.
And the day I made that phone call, the day I committed to it, it gets announced that Netflix is streaming Chappelle's show. Not just Netflix, HBO Max is streaming it too. People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract. But is that right?
My question is, when does hustle become exploitation? Who are we allowed to exploit? Whose meal are we allowed to get between? Where is the line drawn? Why does discussing a celebrity's wrongdoings go out of the window when they die, but using their likeness for personal gain is fine? The irony of me writing the script, making this video, designing a thumbnail, and selecting tags is not lost on me. But my hope is that my analysis, and maybe even the video itself, are a testament to the behavior in our culture. The whole trend of celebrity obsession is really interesting. In some ways, I want it to change, but in others, I really see the benefit. It's kind of a catch-22. Also, I don't want you to think that I'm overlooking the way that celebrities exploit their audiences, oftentimes for money. For a lot of celebrities, a lot of fucked up stuff goes into creating and maintaining their fame, unfortunately. But even when we take into account how celebrities benefit from parasocial relationships, we have to ask ourselves,
but is that right?